Hey YouTube, how you guys doing? My name is Kyle, you know me as Dragonmar, and welcome to a new video. Today guys, we are going to go over why your mindset is holding you back in Valorant. And you might be wondering, what does that even mean? Great question. I'm going to explain all of that in the video, but this is essentially an answer to a question I get all the time, which is what sort of mindset should I have going into Valorant? Like, how can I get better? How do I improve? What should my mindset be? What should my mentality be? That is what we're going to be talking about here. And there is one prevalent one that definitely a lot of players have, and I think it is very negatively impacting them. And I'm going to go over ways to fix that and sort of how to look at this game and your progress throughout the game in the right lens. Now, if you guys enjoy this content, hey, remember to leave a like on the video. If you do, subscribe for more. I stream every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday on Twitch at twitch.tv/Dragonmar with VOD reviews. Maybe check that out too. But without any further ado, let's jump into the video. Now, your mindset, or the way you look at the game, is incredibly important to your progress throughout it. With the wrong mindset, you actually end up putting too much emphasis on things that do not matter, and not enough emphasis on the things that do. Oftentimes, you'll even place blame on things that you cannot control and things that have nothing to do with you or your development in the game. It is a complete waste of time, and this is where a lot of people get stuck. So throughout this video, I'll be explaining the differences between sort of the correct mindset for getting better and the wrong mindset. I'll also explain why it's wrong and why it's actually probably hurting you and maybe even holding you back. Hopefully by the end of this video, you'll be able to look at the game a little bit differently and look at the way you get better a little bit differently as well. Let's begin. All right, to kick things off, we're going to be going over what I believe the wrong mindset is. One of the most common mindsets of players that I do VOD reviews for, that come into my chat, talk to me. I've seen this question asked a ton. And the wrong mindset essentially is as follows. It is the people who play this game and blame their teammates. They blame them for everything and anything. Right? This is the inability to think critically and to analyze your own gameplay and to take responsibility for yourself. These are the players who cannot accept any ounce of blame that perhaps they didn't play to the absolute best of their ability and that perhaps they might have made a mistake. Even the thought of them making a mistake couldn't be possible. So instead, they just throw verbal garbage at you and harass you and are toxic in your games. That is the wrong mindset. The idea that my team is holding me back. The idea that, oh, I would be this rank, but really it's my teammates. I always get bad teammates. I get throwers. I get AFKers. You know, people suck. You know, all of this kind of, how do we say this? BS, right? That is the wrong mindset. That mindset is going to get you nowhere. Literally nowhere. You're going to be stuck forever because you don't know how to think with any ounce of critical thinking ability. And that's what we're fixing here. So if you have that mindset, strap in and let's help you with that. Now, before I get into the right mindset, I want to explain why this is bad. Why the idea that my team is holding me back, why that is a bad thing to say. And the reason for that is because when you're blaming teammates, first of all, if you ever verbalize this, like if you say, hey, you guys suck in voice chat, that's horrible because you actually might tilt your team. You might get them to throw, whatever it is. That's never, you just don't do that, please. If you have to think your team is holding you back, fine. Don't verbalize it. That's toxic as hell. I hate that stuff. But on top of that, blaming teammates, well, guess what? Your teammates are differing game to game, right? You're not going to always have that crappy Reyna player on your team, are you? No, you're not. You might play with them once or twice, maybe in a week. Most of us are not playing with the same people randomly throughout our game. And because of that, when you worry about that player, about their abilities and about their skill level, you're essentially saying, hey, this 1 or 2 games here is the reason I can't rank up. You're never going to play with them again. Why do you care? Why are you focusing so much on what these people are doing who are essentially just pawns in the grand scheme of things? Worry about the bishops, the rooks, the kings. That's you, by the way. You're all those pieces. Or you're if you actually play with teammates, you're playing a stack. I guess they are too, technically. Don't worry about these little things. Remember, one thing I like to say to people is the common denominator in every single game you play is you. This is why I love solo queue, because I focus only on myself and on what I can do better, because you are the only person who is guaranteed to be in every game you're playing. If not, well, we'll have to talk about account sharing at a later date. And on top of that, players have bad games, man. You just do not know if a player is having a good, bad day. Imagine if we all got judged on our worst games, how horrible this world would be, and how horrible the game would be too. But the second part of why it's bad to have that mindset is because it avoids responsibility, and this is key here. When we are playing this game, we have to play to learn, to play to improve, and to play to get better. If you are constantly blaming other people for losses, you're taking away any sort of responsibility that you have. You're essentially saying, I wasn't even playing this game. Nope, it was my teammates. They were the problem. Nope, take me out. There's nothing I could have done differently, which is a total lie, by the way. That is absolutely not true, not in the slightest, not at all. That is such a bad way to look at the game and to look at your rank, and to the inability to accept responsibility and to take blame for mistakes in games is horrendous. And that's why this mentality is so bad, because first of all, you blame other people, you shift the blame to them, you avoid any responsibility, and suddenly you think you're perfect. You're this gold 3 player who should be immortal, but really you're not, because you're not even looking at your own mistakes, because you won't acknowledge you make them, because you're blaming your teammates. That is why this is a problem. If we could sum this up into one thing, the reason it's bad to blame teammates is because you shift any responsibility and any ability to acknowledge and get better and fix your own mistakes, and you shift that onto your teammates, and that's just some straight up BS. Okay, now let's start talking about the correct mindset. Something that I recommend to every single person who asks me, something that I've had to integrate into my own play, into my own mind, something that's helped me a lot throughout my gaming time, whether it was in Counter-Strike, in Overwatch, hitting top 500, and now in Valorant. And that is to play this game to improve and to focus solely on yourself. It is to look at what you can do better every single game, every single fight, every single second. What can I do better? That is what you need to ask yourself after every death, after every lost round, after every round you win. There is always room to improve, regardless of what rank you're at. That is why the right mindset to have is one where you play this game to improve, not just to win. And you don't blame other people for your failures. You only look inwards and say, what can I do better? If you can go into each game you play thinking, okay, this is an opportunity to learn. This is an opportunity for me to improve. If I'm facing higher level players, this is an opportunity for me to see how I compare, how they play, how can I emulate them, how can I beat them, what can I do differently. This is your chance to do those things. So let's get a little more in depth about how you can do that. So how do you play to improve, right? It's kind of a weird idea, because you're like, well, of course I want to improve, but some people don't think actively about it, and that's the problem here. So the right way to do this, I think, is to go into every game and look at it as a challenge, regardless of who is in the lobby. Just look at it as a challenge and think, I'm going to take something away from this game. Now, there's a few really important things you want to pay attention to. And the one thing you never want to do, right, is you never want to look at your teammates and say, they should have done this better, and blame them for it, right? It's fine to think, hey, oh, they could have done this better, they could have done this. That's fine. It's good to analyze, but you actually have to switch things around a little bit and say, what could I have done differently to help them? What could I have positioned myself better? Could I made a call out? Could I have used utility? Now, this isn't always going to work. Trust me, sometimes people just do stupid things, and that's fine. But sometimes we can help stupid, okay? And by the way, you're going to play one game with them probably ever. Like, don't focus on them, focus on you. So say, what could I have done to help this player? Could I have told them something? Could I have maybe traded their death? Could I have gone in with them? Could I have suggested a different strategy? It's all about looking at yourself and thinking, okay, this person did this thing really wrong. What can I do to help them? That's sort of the in and out of it, right? It's very, very simple in practice. It's to, when you're playing to improve, you have to focus on yourself. Like I said, common denominator. It's just you in every single one of your games. No one else is going to be in all your games. It's just you. So focus on yourself. Okay, so after every death, one thing I like to do is I like to say, okay, why did I die? Could I have avoided it, first of all? And if not, what could I have done better, right? Did I need to take that fight? Did I swing too wide? Was my aim off? Was my crosshair placement bad? Did I have low health? And if not, if the fight was fine, what could I have done better, right? Or maybe, hey, should I have avoided that completely? Should I have worked with my team a bit more? Ask for a flash, ask for a smoke. Very, very important to understand that It's okay to look at your teammates and say, oh, this player could have done this better if they did X, Y, and Z. But what you should be doing is focusing on yourself and saying, how could I help them? Or if it's just you, what could I have done differently? That's how you play to improve. Remember, stop focusing so much on winning the damn games, because wins and losses come and go, but your skill level is what stays forever and what matters. And only that will determine if you get to the new ranks or not. You might rank up one game, but if your skill hasn't improved, you're probably going to drop down eventually. It's about improving your skill, improving that inherent ability to play this damn game at the best of your ability. And if you're not focusing on improving yourself, and you're shifting blame, and you're just focusing solely on winning, and you're not trying to actually get better, you're not going to get anywhere. And that holds a lot of people back. And it's hard to hear that for some people, and they like to place blame on other people, but it's about, you know, growing up and taking some responsibility for your play. A lot of people want to take this game seriously and they want to get better, but they don't understand how to think critically about what they're doing wrong. And that is why it's so important to play this game to improve and to take that mindset into everything you do. And guys, I just want to conclude by saying this is not easy to do for some people, and it will take time. Do not get frustrated with yourself. It can be pretty difficult to change this mindset around and to actually start blaming yourself. And sometimes it's hard. Trust me, sometimes it's hard to see, oh man, I really just need to focus inwards more and not project so much. It's difficult for some people, and I get that. Take time with it, you know, focus on one thing at a time. But if anything, remember, do not blame people in chat, in team chat. That's like the worst thing you can do. Start focusing more on yourself, on what you could have done better. Like I said, of course, it's so fine and actually definitely recommended to look at your teammates and think about what they can do better. But remember, the only thing you can carry over to your next game is what you did and how you played, right? You can't change how other people play. You can only change how you play. That's why when you play to improve and you change that mindset around, you stop shifting blame to other people and you only look inwards. That's how you get better. That's how you get better. That's how you get better faster. Ask any good player, and that's what they do as well. So I hope this was useful. If it was, of course, hit that like button, subscribe for more. I'd love to see you guys back here in the future, and leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Do you guys have this mentality? What's going on with you guys? I'd love to hear. Do you have players who your friends maybe blame everybody but themselves? I'd love to hear in the comments down below. With that being said, though, guys, I will see you on stream or in the next video. Take it easy and peace.